113 phase _7 how to follow the path of the great clear light direct crossing over. Phase 7, how to follow the path of the great clear light direct crossing over. B. The path of direct crossing over to spontaneous actualization. This section has two parts, I, the summary, and E, the elaborate explanation. I. The summary. Liberation is swiftly achieved by devoting yourself to the pinnacle of paths. The swift path, the essential Dharma. Filled with blessings of clairvoyance, extrasensory perception, and miraculous power. The path of direct crossing over to the city of the great transference. The pinnacle of all the paths of the 9 stages, superior even to the path of cutting through, the swift path, the VAJRA essence Dharma, filled with blessings of clairvoyance, extrasensory perception, and miraculous power, is the path of the clear light direct crossing over to the city of the great transference rainbow body. In the phase of cutting through, by identifying pristine awareness, the Dharmakaya that is present in the ground, and devoting yourself to achieving some stability in it, you will certainly achieve supreme liberation swiftly, which is to say either in this life or in the intermediate period. E. The elaborate explanation. This section has two parts, A. The general meaning, and B. The meaning of the text. At the general meaning. This section has two parts, 1. The special preliminary practices, and 2. How to engage in the main practice. 1. The special preliminary practices. If you do not practice the profound preliminary rituals, when you engage in the main practice there will be a great many obstacles and pitfalls, so first of all diligently apply yourself to differentiating samsara and nirvana with respect to your body, speech, and mind. The ways of differentiating them in terms of outer, inner, and secret are to be understood from the meditation manuals, such as the VAJRA Essence 118, and they should be practiced accordingly. 2. How to engage in the main practice. This section has 7 parts, A general synthesis of direct crossing over and so forth, B. Recognizing the principal points of this specific phase, C. The vital points of the body, speech, and mind, D. The 3 vital points for viewing the clear light, E. A presentation of the lamps, F. Establishing the basis with the 3 kinds of stillness, and G. How to put the stages into practice. A general synthesis of direct crossing over and so forth. In this yana our own explanation of the channels and bindus is called artianu. To summarize it, the aperture for the manifest movements of the impure energy mind is the mouth, and the apertures for the subtle energy mind are the nostrils. As for how they move, in the lungs, channels the width of a wheat straw are filled with the exhaled and inhaled energy. If they increase excessively, heat disorders arise, if they decrease, cold disorders occur, and if the energy flows straight, there is a balance of the heat and cold elements of the body. In one day there are 21,600 breaths, which serve as the mounts for the mind's discursive thoughts. Therefore, the strenuous control of the channels and vital energies is a profound method for forcefully binding the energy mind, but there are great obstacles and ways to go astray. The mouth is the aperture for the movements of coarse mental afflictions, while subtle, hidden afflictions move by way of the nostrils. The 6 lamps of the ground of the nature of existence are the avenues for the arising of the kayas and facets of primordial consciousness, and they are also the apertures through which primordial consciousness manifests. The 2 ears are the pathways by which consciousness masters appearances, and they are also the apertures of subtle and hidden primordial consciousness. In dependence upon them, sounds are purified. Through the apertures by which primordial consciousness manifests, the clear light that illuminates darkness is purified. The eyes are the entrances through which stainless appearances manifest, and the purification of dreams is the gateway for dreams. By familiarizing yourself with the clear light, emanation, and transformation, the appearances in the transitional phase of becoming can be emanated and transformed. From that you can emanate a pristine Nirmanakaya Buddha field and familiarize yourself with transforming the appearances of the intermediate period. B. Recognizing the principal points of this specific phase. Now I shall describe the specific points in the explanations of the types of apertures. With respect to the gateways through which the visions of kayas and facets of primordial consciousness manifest, there are I, the lamps of the ground of the nature of existence, and E, the lamps of the yogic path. I, the lamps of the ground of the nature of existence. As for the three kinds of lamps of the vessel, the quintessence of the body is the cheetah lamp of the flesh, and inside it is the quintessence of the channels, the hollow crystal Kati channel. It is 1/8 the width of a horsehair, with two branches that stem from inside the heart like the horns of a wild ox. These curve around the back of the ears and come to the pupils of the eyes. Their root is the heart, the trunk is the channels, and the fruit is the eyes. The quintessence of the apertures is called the fluid distant lasso lamp. Although these are said to have three names, they are united as one entity with mere distinctions of being the root, trunk, and fruit. Thus, in the context of the path, they are simply called the fluid distant lasso lamp. As for the ways in which the visions are perceived, the pure fluid distant lasso lamp is so called because it enables you to see the luminous visions of the root of light. The impure fluid distant lasso lamp is so called because delusive appearances are seen due to the basis of the sensory faculty. As for its etymology, it is called distant because it enables you to see and apprehend from a distance forms, colors, and kayas of pristine awareness, and because if you do realize the quintessential clear light, it propels you far from samsara, while if you do not realize this, it propels you far from nirvana. It is called a lasso because it snares you if you identify with the appearances of samsara, such as forms and sensory objects, and it also holds you to prevent your falling into distraction regarding the visions of light. It is called fluid because it separates the quintessence from the residue of appearances, and because it is free of self-grasping regarding appearances. It is called a lamp because it illuminates the delusive appearances to the sense doors, and it illuminates primordial consciousness, pristine awareness. Among the three kinds of lamps of the vital essence, here is the nature of being of the first, called the lamp of the pristine space of awareness. The five lights result from the transmutation of the residues of the five elements into quintessences. The quintessence that appears as space is indigo or light blue, the quintessence that appears as water is white or gray, the quintessence that appears as fire is red or brown, the quintessence that appears as earth is yellow, pale yellow, or dark yellow, and the quintessence that appears as air is green, tan, or light green. In whatever color the impure visions initially appear, when they shift to the space of awareness, they continue to appear in that same color. Here is how the visions in the space of awareness are seen by individuals who are on the path. By forcefully directing your attention to the eyes and your eyes to a sky free of contaminating influences, you see vague, bluish visions in the space of awareness. If you intensely engage with this mode of appearance, you recognize that space is unrelated to any individual, but the lamp consistently emerges or recedes according to the presence or absence of the individual. So external, cloudless space is just the basis for appearances to arise, but it is not the actual space of awareness. The space of awareness is an inner space that illuminates the pavilions of rainbow lights. While it seems as if they emerge from it, they are not really different. Such visions in the space of awareness are initially of the nature of the sun, the moon, a flame, and so on, complete with the five colors and filled with rainbow patterns, like brilliant, unfurled brocade. This rainbow weave appears in the aspect of vertical and horizontal visions. For just a month, beginners should gaze through a crystal, in the direction of the sun during the daytime, at the moon during the nighttime, and gaze at a flame in the morning and evening. This veils the basis of appearances, so the visions appear. At first they arise as shifting, quivering images, after a while they become more stable, and finally they remain motionless. At that time, look out a window into the clear sky and settle on these visions of light, whether they appear to be good or bad, and disengage from the flaws of enjoying or not enjoying the beauty or lack of beauty. Then a whitish blue emerges that is not of the external empty sky. Even so, know that it is important to rest in this state without attraction or aversion to its qualities. As for its etymology, it is called the space of awareness because the space of awareness of the quintessences of the 5 elements appears as the 5 lights. Because it purifies reification, it is called pristine, and in dependence upon this, the visions of the Vajra strands are illuminated, so it is called a lamp. As for the nature of being of the lamp of empty bindus, the 5 inner elements are transmuted into quintessences and thereby become the 5 quintessences. The quintessence of the mind is transformed into indigo and appears as such. The quintessence of blood transforms into the color red and appears as such. Likewise, the quintessence of flesh is yellow, the quintessence of warmth is white, and that of the breath appears green. The 5 quintessences appear to be round, so they are called bindus. In reality, they are spherical, without corners. They appear like concentric circles rippling from a stone thrown into a pond. As for its etymology, the pearl garland states. Thig refers to immutability. That refers to pervasiveness and the appearance as objects. Empty and devoid of signs of substantiality. This lamp illuminates by dispelling darkness. In the center of the heart is the hollow crystal Kati channel, and inside it is the bindu of the internal space of awareness. By being held in your gaze, it appears externally as the bindu of the radiance of the space of awareness, so it is said to be twofold. As for the nature of being of the lamp of self-emergent wisdom, it is pristine awareness, characterized by its empty essential nature, its luminous manifest nature, and its unimpeded compassion. This is primordial consciousness, the essential nature of the mind, which eternally abides inseparably from the Shugatagava. As for its way of appearing, due to being held by the gaze of the distant lasso, inner pristine awareness is experienced as being very limpid and non-objective. From this arises sharp and swift wisdom that knows objects and the meanings of words, arising as a flowing forth into the expanse, constituting its creative expressions. From Vajra strands of the pristine awareness of Vipassana appear in the expanse of the pristine space of awareness, like pearls strung on a string or like floating threads of gold, and they are called the radiance of wisdom. As a sign of liberation due to the vital points of the channels, the Vajra strands become fine and curly. As a sign of liberation due to the vital points of the vital energies, they appear to be coming and going. As a sign of liberation due to the vital points of the bindus are present among the curls. By applying the name of the cause to their effect, they are also called Vajra strands. In the initial phase and during the interval thereafter they are like pearls strung together, and finally they emerge in the form of latticework and pendants. They are of the same essential nature but are nominally classified as threefold. As for the etymology, the pearl garland states. Consciousness simultaneously realizes phenomena. The primary among them being the pinnacle of everything. It is devoid of characteristics that can be viewed as other. And it arises continuously and appears naturally. This lamp unimpededly illuminates appearances. The lamps of the yogic path. The 4 lamps of the path of appearances are the fluid distant lasso lamp, the lamp of the pristine space of awareness, the lamp of the empty bindus, and the lamp of self-emergent wisdom. These 4 lamps are united as one during the phase of the yogic path. Know that unifying them and then applying yourself to practice is of the utmost importance. C. Identifying the most important thing to know in this phase. previously, when determining the nature of the ground during the phase of cutting through, an initial, impure consciousness gives rise to objective appearances, which are taken up by subsequent thoughts, resulting in delusion. Once you have correctly recognized how that occurs, now during the phase of practicing the direct crossing over, your initial consciousness shifts to appearances of clear light, and consciousness actualizes itself. Impure appearances dissolve into the space of awareness, and even though they disappear without a trace, the consciousness of afflictive mentation holds on to them as being existent. But the impure eon has been destroyed, and the consciousness of the disappearance is an indispensable, sublime aspect of the direct crossing over. D. The vital points of the body, speech, and mind. Unlike nebulous, obscure meditations and constructs of the intellect and mentation, the eye of wisdom enables you to directly see the ultimate reality of the clear light. At the outset you must bind your posture, for if this is not done, the space of awareness, bindus, and vital energies will be dispersed in the channels and elements of the body, and they will not manifest, just as the limbs of a snake will not appear unless he is squeezed. The posture is therefore very important. First, the Dharmakaya posture is like a lion. The physical posture of a lion entails joining the soles of your feet in front of you. Plant your VAJRA fists on the ground between your legs and look up into the sky. This is the Dharmakaya posture and gaze. The soles of your feet are joined in order to keep the afflictive vital energies in their own place. Your VAJRA fists are placed on the ground to cut off the pathways of the mental afflictions. The purpose of directing your gaze upward is to open the vision of primordial consciousness. The Sambhogakaya posture, which is like a reclining elephant, entails planting your knees and elbows on the ground and supporting your cheeks with your palms. Point the soles of your feet outward and gaze directly in front of you. Pointing your soles outward causes the vital energies to flow easily. Pressing your knees against your chest equalizes the heat and cold elements of the body. Pointing your knees and elbows at the ground blocks the impure apertures. Supporting your cheeks with your palms equalizes bliss and emptiness. The purpose of directing your gaze straight in front of you is to realize the self-illumination of primordial consciousness. The Nirmanakaya posture, which is like a squatting ayasi, entails planting the soles of your feet on the ground, pressing your knees against your chest, and clasping your knees with both hands while interlacing your fingers. Straighten your spine and gaze downward. The soles of your feet press on the air mandala in order to suppress the power of the karmic vital energies. By pressing together the fire mandala of the thighs and the fire mandala of the belly, the impure vital energies of samsara are extinguished in their own place. By pressing together the water mandala of the knees and the fire mandala of the palms, the heat and cold elements of the body are equalized. By pressing together the fire mandala of the palms and the fire mandala of the armpits, cold disorders are dispelled. Nothing more is said except that by gazing downward, the eye of omniscience is opened. Nevertheless, if you look straight ahead, the eye of omniscience still opens. Moreover, even if you look upward, the eye of omniscience still opens, so it is said that this makes no difference. E. The three vital points for viewing the clear light. The vital point regarding the sense doors is that you look with your eyes partially open, without suddenly opening them wide, for the sharpness of your vision will decline, and the visions of the clear light will not manifest. So do not rigidly fix your gaze. The vital point regarding the vital energies is that you practice breathing gently through your mouth, via a small opening between your lips and teeth, and practice breathing in and out slowly, pausing for a moment once the breath has been exhaled. As for the vital point regarding the object of your gaze, in the beginning, for just a month, during the daytime direct your gaze 1 cubit, a forearm's length, away from the sun. Then practice during the night to clear away any problems of heat increasing in the eyes from the sun. In order to achieve stability in the clear light, gaze at the moon in the same way. At night, if you gaze at a flame, by looking above it with your eyes half open, at first you will see only something like an orange haystack. After a while, visions will appear in the space of awareness and bindus will arise in the form of quivering lines. Finally, beautiful, limpid, clear, vast visions will appear in the space of awareness. F. Establishing the basis with the three kinds of stillness. When you practice like this, rest with your body unmoving, like a corpse in a charnel ground, let your voice be still, avoiding all speech and recitation, and do not exhale through your nose but slowly breathe through your mouth without impeding or forcing the respiration. This is the reliance upon the vital point of freeing the channels and vital energies from control and effort. Abide motionlessly in a state in which consciousness experientially emerges as the clear light, without the mind being modified in any way. In general, wherever you are, by keeping the body straight, all the channels and vital energies will be straight, and once the mind has dissolved into empty pristine awareness, you will be stabilized in that state. G. How to practice. In general, in some other tantric commentaries there are references to various other postures in addition to these three. In particular, until the five lights appear in the space of awareness, it is said that you should meditate with various gazes and you should contain the VAJRA strands within the enclosure of the space of awareness and the bindus. But in other meditation manuals on this phase, no such specific points are mentioned. In general, you should remain in whatever way best facilitates the luminosity and appearance of the clear light. Similarly, regarding your posture, practice whichever posture is most comfortable, beneficial, and suitable, for there is no need to practice all three. Statements that various pleasant and rough experiences occur in the phase of progress in meditative experience should be understood as merely referring to these differences. Moreover, if you are drawn to more elaborate practices, you may alternate among the postures and intermittently apply yourself to other practices. If you practice without elaboration, dispense with the 9 kinds of activity and apply yourself to meditation continuously, day and night. Those who can meditate only during the daytime should do so continuously throughout the day. There are 3 special sessions during the early and later periods of the night. Sometimes, as the 5 vital energies are purified in their own places, visualize a stack of 5 colored syllables to bring about a state of non-conceptuality. You should also know the methods for purifying death and apply yourself to them. B. The meaning of the text. This section has 5 parts. 1. How direct crossing over is superior even to cutting through. 2. How the 4 visions gradually arise. 3. How those of superior faculties achieve liberation in this lifetime. 4. The specifics of progress in meditative experience. And 5. How those of middling and inferior faculties are liberated in the transitional phases of ultimate reality and of becoming. 1. How direct crossing over is superior even to cutting through. These are practical instructions on forcefully transferring the residual appearances of the emergence of objects to the initial consciousness, to the space of awareness of the quintessences. As explained previously, in general all the various modes of appearances to sentient beings during the daytime, nighttime, and intermediate period arise as objects to the initial consciousness of the midstream of each sentient being. In this phase, those impure, residual appearances of the emergence of the physical world, its sentient inhabitants, and sensory objects are forcefully transferred to the space of awareness of the quintessences of the clear light by way of a path of skillful means. These practical instructions for doing so are therefore superior. Moreover, all the appearances and mindsets of samsara are transferred to the absolute space of ultimate reality. So this is superior to the ordinary transference involving 3 attitudes, the visualization of consciousness as having shape and color, and its projection in certain directions. This enables you to achieve stability in the great actualization of the displays of the kayas and facets of primordial consciousness, and these are practical instructions on gaining liberation within yourself as the actual 3 kayas. So this is superior to meditations such as the stage of generation, in which you strenuously use the intellect to visualize autonomous deities in human-like forms. Since the ultimate reality of the clear light directly appears to your senses, this is superior to obscure meditations, such as cutting through. The 7 ways in which this is superior, as taught by the omniscient Guru, Longchenpa, should be known from the meditation manual The Guru of Primordial Consciousness. 2. How the 4 visions gradually arise. This section has 4 parts: A. The vision of the direct perception of ultimate reality, B. The vision of progress in meditative experience, C. The vision of reaching consummate awareness, and D. The vision of the extinction into ultimate reality. A. The vision of the direct perception of ultimate reality. The initial consciousness emerges as a vision of the clear light, manifesting as a sight for the eye of wisdom. The emergence of the initial consciousness as a vision of the clear light is not due to an ordinary sensory faculty, but rather manifests as a sight for the eye of wisdom. Therefore it is a direct perception of ultimate reality. As an outer sign of this, like opening a curtain, the visions in the space of awareness arise majestically and firmly, and the bindus range in size from fish eyes to thumb rings. As an inner sign, the potency of the vase empowerment enters the material constituents of your body, so that you have no wish to move your body, you remain without any desire to speak, and your attention remains wherever you place it. At this point, even if there are obstacles, you will find the relief of liberation as a nature nirmanakaya. This is not merely due to your initial perception of the signs of the outer visions in the space of awareness, but is rather due to seeing reality, whereby the dust on your inner eye of wisdom has been removed. The clear expanse states, with the direct perception of pristine awareness, there is no returning to the 3 realms. For one has seen reality. B. The vision of progress in meditative experience. Visions emerge and progress as the great clear light. Unlike the conscious experiences of the 10 signs of purification generated by the convergence of the energy mind in the avaduti, by inwardly perceiving the essential nature of ultimate reality as empty, its radiance, as primordial consciousness of the nature of clear light, does not flow outward. Rather, by the power of familiarization with the great appearance of clear light, such visions emerge and progress, higher and higher, so this is called progress in meditative experience. As outer signs of this, visions of the clear light increase in magnitude, and the pristine awareness of the space of awareness separates from the point between the eyes. The 5 lights indeterminately appear horizontally, vertically, and spherically, like stupas, empty lotuses, castles, and arrows, like spear tips, latticework, and pendants, in checkered designs, and so forth. The lamps of empty bindus increase from the size of thumb rings up to that of rhinoceros hide shields. Pristine awareness moves slowly, like a winged creature gliding aloft, like a deer gamboling across a mountainside, like a creeping serpent 139 and like a bee hovering over a flower. These are conventional descriptions for those who are somewhat or moderately familiar with the practice. The measure of perfect familiarization is that wherever you look, the domain of empty space is pervaded by visions of clear light, and they remain without fluctuating. As for the inner signs of appearances to your body, speech, and mind, as an indication that the potency of the secret empowerment has impacted your channels and vital energies, at first various uncomfortable illnesses, such as those related to the wind and phlegm humors, may arise inwardly, from your heart up to your throat. The occurrence of such meditative experiences is indeterminate. Physically, you may act coquettishly or shamelessly, as if you were intoxicated, and you may behave in various drunken ways, unable to stay put. Verbally, like the babbling of a fool, words may flow forth spontaneously, and you may sing various songs and melodies and so on. Mentally, your attention may wander aimlessly, as if your mind were insanely agitated. In this phase, even if you are interrupted by death, you will achieve liberation in the transitional phase of ultimate reality as a Sambhogakaya. C. The vision of reaching consummate awareness. Take satisfaction in the mudra of pristine awareness ripening as the vital essence. To take satisfaction in the ripening of pristine awareness as the vital essence in the mudra of the primordial consciousness deities is called reaching consummate awareness. The outer signs of the visions in the space of awareness are spheres, lotuses, wheels, and so forth. In a palace-like expanse, at first the upper portions of the kayas of the 5 families of jhanas appear in the midst of 5-fold aggregates of bindus, later the single kayas appear completely, and finally the deities and the consorts arise in union, together with their retinues of 4 male bodhisattvas and 4 female bodhisattvas. By the power of increasing familiarity, in the expanse of the outer palace and the inner blazing volcano palace constructed of 3 tiers of skulls appear mandalas of wrathful herukas with deities and consorts embracing in union. And single male deities bearing great weapons are dressed in fresh elephant skins tied with belts of human skin, with lower garments of tiger skins. They indeterminately appear in various sizes, the larger ones as vast as the sky and the smaller ones as tiny as peas. All phenomenal worlds appear to be filled and totally pervaded with rainbow light and blazing fire. Objects as small as the head of a pin are filled and illuminated with kayas and all their ornaments. This marks the perfection of the potency of reaching consummate awareness. As for the inner signs of this, due to the potency of the wisdom empowerment coming to your mind and bindus, you gain mastery over your energy mind, and you acquire the 8 siddhis. As your body ripens into the clear light, you can move freely through all solid objects such as mountains and rocks. As your voice ripens and is purified as displays of VAJRA speech, everything you say sounds pleasant for others' ears and benefits their midstreams. Without reliance on causes and conditions, all Dharma words of authentic tantras, oral transmissions, and pith instructions flow forth naturally. Your mind is liberated as pristine awareness. Pristine awareness awakens within itself, and due to your eye of primordial consciousness penetrating wisdom, you perceive all the appearing phenomena of samsara and nirvana with unobscured extrasensory perception, like bright reflections of planets and stars in the great ocean, free of grasping and reifying them. At this time you gain mastery over pristine awareness. Therefore, without reliance on objects or contributing conditions, you do not encounter situations that throw you off course, but you avoid them by your own power. Having gained mastery over appearances, you can transform even the phenomenal world into a treasure. Having gained mastery over birth, by focusing your awareness on 3,000 sentient beings, 3,000 nirmanakas arise to serve the needs of sentient beings. Having gained mastery over liberation, simply by directing your awareness to the great evils of the 5 deeds of immediate retribution, 143 you can be liberated from them. Having gained mastery over the outer elements, you can transform them in any way you desire. Having gained mastery over the inner elements, your body becomes free of wrinkles and clear like a reflection in a mirror. Your white hair becomes dark, and new teeth grow. Mudras of the 5 Buddha families and radiant syllables appear on your body. Your hair and nails stop growing. As a sign of being free of all outer and inner parasites, lice and nits disappear from your body. Your body becomes light like cotton, and your respiration becomes imperceptible. These are definite signs that you have come to the culmination of the authentic path. In this phase of reaching consummate awareness, you are naturally liberated without undergoing the intermediate period. D. The vision of the extinction into ultimate reality. With the extinction of appearances and the mind, you cross over into the absolute space of ultimate reality. And you awaken as the great transference youthful Vaskaya. With the extinction of the outer delusive appearances and all inner delusive habitual propensities of the concepts of the mind and of the mental factors, and with the extinction of all the secret visions of the clear light, you cross over into the absolute space of ineffable ultimate reality. So this is called the extinction into ultimate reality. There are two ways in which such extinction occurs. Extinction occurs gradually for anyone who has come to the culmination of the four visions, and simultaneously for those rare individuals of supreme wisdom who achieve extinction by familiarizing themselves with seeing the visions of the direct perception of ultimate reality without reliance on the stages of progressive meditative experience and reaching consummate awareness. Here are the outer signs that precede the extinction of the bindus in the space of awareness. In the indigo expanse of visions in the space of awareness, inside an indigo bindu the size of a rhinoceros hide shield appears a five-fold assembly of indigo deities with Aksavya in the center. In the intervals between them appear blue-black Vajra strands, like blue beryl garlands. From the hearts of these deities emerge threads of indigo light rays, striking your heart, upon which appear the ornaments of stacked indigo bindus like upside-down lapis lazuli bowls. When that is complete, in the white, luminous expanse in the space of awareness, inside a white bindu the size of a rhinoceros hide shield appears a five-fold assembly of white deities, including Vairocana and his retinue. In the intervals between them appear strings of Vajra strands like crystal garlands. From the hearts of these deities emerge threads of light white like the moon, striking your heart, upon which appear the ornaments of stacked bindus like upside-down conch bowls. After that is complete, in the yellow, luminous expanse of visions in the space of awareness, inside a yellow bindu the size of a rhinoceros hide shield appears a five-fold assembly of yellow deities, including Ratnasambhava and his retinue. In the intervals between them appear strings of Vajra strands like golden garlands, large and luminous. From the hearts of these deities emerge threads of yellow light rays, striking your heart, upon which appear the ornaments of stacked bindus like upside-down golden bowls. After that, in the red expanse in the space of awareness, inside a red bindu the size of a rhinoceros hide shield appears a five-fold assembly of red deities, including Amitabha with his consort in the midst of his retinue. In the intervals between them appear strings of encircling and intertwining Vajra strands like before. From the hearts of these deities emerge threads of red light, striking your heart, upon which appear the ornaments of stacked bindus like upside-down coral bowls. After that process is complete, in the green expanse of visions in the space of awareness, inside a green bindu the size of a rhinoceros hide shield appear Amahasiddhi and his consort, together with their retinue of 4 pairs of male and female bodhisattvas. In the intervals between them appear encircling and intertwining Vajra strands like turquoise necklaces. From the hearts of these deities emerge green light rays, striking your heart, upon which appear stacked bindus like upside-down turquoise bowls. As soon as those lights appear, you receive the empowerment of great light rays, which causes your body to diminish in an expanse of light to the size of a finger and then to vanish into clear light. All appearances of the outer physical world and its inner sentient inhabitants dissolve into clear light, leaving no trace of impure appearances. When all the mandalas of Herukas in the bone palace appear to you in the sky above, your own body vanishes into light, like salt dissolving into water. In that instant, your consciousness moves like a shooting star and is just the differentiation of appearances and mindsets. Then the gradual extinction is like this: all the visions of clear light as kayas and bindus gradually vanish, like masses of clouds disappearing into the sky, and all pure and impure appearances are extinguished. The inner sign of this is that the obscurations of the substrate dissolve into absolute space, and ignorance is dispelled in the ground of being. The self-grasping of afflictive mentation is calmed right where it is, and you are liberated from the bonds of dualistic grasping. Consciousness that grasps at objects is released into the essential nature, so the objects grasped by the intellect are extinguished. The 8 groups of conceptualizations are transmuted into primordial consciousness, and the concepts of the mind and of the mental factors are extinguished. With the extinction of the mind and thoughts that are the basis of emergences, those emergences disappear right where they are. With the extinction of the consciousness that apprehends objects, apprehended objects are extinguished. The net of self-grasping is released, so the defiled aggregates are extinguished. At this point your body becomes like a mindless corpse in a charnel ground, and even if you were surrounded by 1,000 assassins, you would not have the slightest bit of fear. Your speech becomes like an echo, reverberating all other sounds. Like mist dissolving into the sky, your mind attains nirvana in the absolute space of the primordial protector, pristine awareness, so it can never be deluded again. At this time your own pristine awareness actualizes the state of the primordial protector. Since this does not depend on objective conditions, even if you were to have visions of 3,000 Buddhas, you would have such confidence that you would not feel the slightest faith in them. Since your own pristine awareness has evenly expanded into the absolute space of the Dharmakaya, devoid of signs, even if you were surrounded by 100,000 Maras and murderers, you would have such confidence that you wouldn't feel even a trace of fear. By reaching your own inner depths for yourself, you come upon the reality that there is no substantially existent nirvana, so you acquire the confidence of having no hope for the maturation of cause and effect. By being liberated in the reality of never having been deluded with regard to your own essential nature, you acquire the confidence of fearlessness regarding samsara and the miserable states of existence. These are the 4 kinds of great confidence that are acquired. The subtlest of latent cognitive obscurations still arise, and like a flash of lightning that brightens the sky, occasionally your body dissolves into an expanse of light, such that only a body of light the size of a finger appears. Know that this is the differentiation of appearances and mindsets, and there are occasions when your speech and the utterance of words of Dharma occur like before. In that way, after 10 days, or 5 or 10 months, the subtle cognitive obscurations vanish into absolute space, and the power of primordial consciousness that knows reality as it is and perceives the full range of phenomena is perfected. Having gained mastery over the originally pure ground Dharmakaya, the spontaneously actualized kayas, and the displays of primordial consciousness, you awaken as the great transference youthful Vars Kaya, with 9 characteristics. The treatise on practical guidance explains. O assembled disciples, including VAJRA of pristine awareness. Listen and pay attention. These are the extraordinary characteristics of the spontaneously actualized youthful Vars Kaya. The obscurations of ignorance are dispelled in absolute space. So the Dharmakaya surpasses the substrate. The primordial consciousness of the inner glow manifests. And it surpasses the brilliance of the outer radiance. Great identitylessness manifests. And it surpasses the appearances of the self. The kayas and facets of primordial consciousness manifest. And they surpass appearances. The perceptions of the full range of phenomena manifest. And this primordial consciousness surpasses the mind. You are awakened within yourself. And this surpasses going to Buddha fields. You are freed from all extremes of conceptual elaboration. And this surpasses the causation of dependent origination. You are endowed with the 8 freedoms 149. And this surpasses all the paths and fruitions. You uniformly pervade absolute space and primordial consciousness. And this surpasses mundane existence. These 9 great, exceptional characteristics are highly praised by all the jinnas. In truly perfected Buddhas. 3. How those of superior faculties achieve liberation in this lifetime. The signs of this, like space dissolving into space, are that there are no limits to your lifespan, duration, and dimensions. And 3 kinds of liberation occur as the quintessence of the rainbow body. By actualizing the original pure Dharmakaya in this way, the signs of truly perfect Buddhahood are that, like water dissolving into water or like space dissolving into space, your quintessential body has no limits with regard to its lifespan, duration, and dimensions. Without such limitations, you awaken as the great transference youthful vars kaya in the absolute space of phenomena, free of conceptual elaboration. The bodies of some people become enveloped in light and disappear into the nature of light. This is called the mass of light. The bodies of others are encompassed by a shroud of light that covers the sky with rainbows and clouds, and they disappear into rainbow colors. This is called the great rainbow body. In these two cases, when you come to the end of your life, you awaken without any separation of your body and mind. Other people, after the bodies and minds have separated, dissolve into the nature of rainbows and light without leaving behind any trace of their aggregates. This is called the small rainbow body. For some people, when the ground clear light arises, within 7 days the material elements of the body become smaller and smaller, until finally only the residues of their hair and nails remain. This dissolution of the body into elementary particles is called the small transference. It also occurs in cutting through, for those of exceptionally superior faculties. Thus, there is first the mass of light, second the great rainbow body, and third, the small rainbow body and small transference, or the dissolution into elementary particles, which are counted as one, making 3. So 3 kinds of liberation occur as the quintessence of the rainbow body. The former 2 are the ways those of middling faculties are liberated, and the latter 2 are the ways those of inferior faculties are liberated. The first great transference is the way those of superior faculties are liberated. Although some people wish for the rainbow body with no final testament, they are liberated in the great transference as described previously. Others who aspire for the rainbow body with no physical pain achieve it as a mass of light and a great rainbow body. Yet others who wish to transfer to the rainbow body achieve the small rainbow body and disappear into minute particles. So the first is the dharmakaya of entering the womb of natural liberation, the second 2 are the dharmakaya of non-dual union, and the final 2 are the dharmakaya of transference to primordial consciousness. However you are liberated among these 3 ways, the unwavering dharmakaya manifests limitlessly as displays of the kayas and facets of primordial consciousness. In this phase, here is the meaning of the fluctuations of the 4 visions. As an analogy, although there are no fluctuations from the perspective of the moon, there are appearances of increases and decreases in terms of the lunar cycles. Likewise, while there are no fluctuations from the perspective of the visions of the clear light, all the sublime qualities of the Sambhogakaya without exception are complete in the nature of pristine awareness. By the power of familiarization, they are seen as visions of the path, and the creative power is perfected. Even though they appear like this, they are merely reflections of the outer radiance of pristine awareness, but not its essential nature. Therefore, the outer appearances of the natural radiance of the Shugatagava must be extinguished. For this reason, the pinnacle of ultimate truth is said to be utterly pure pristine awareness, together with its subtle, vacillating energies, abiding in its place of power in primordial absolute space in which there is the vision of the extinction of the intellect and of phenomena. 4. The specifics of progress in meditative experience. Due to various, indeterminate good and bad visionary experiences, joys and sorrows arise over the course of time. Without hope or fear, transfer them all into absolute space. Regarding the phase of progress in meditative experience explained earlier, this is the point at which all the coarse visions, channels, and energies merge into the absolute space of the subtle, great clear light of ultimate reality. Therefore, due to the various, indeterminate ways in which both good and bad visionary experiences occur, sometimes the body feels good and the mind feels joy, and at other times illnesses arise in the body, and sorrow and so on arise in the mind, over the course of time. Visions of gods and demons and various kinds of extrasensory perception may arise, and on occasion you may experience an unbearably strong sense of faith, devotion, and renunciation. Sometimes strong arrogance may fill your mind such that you exalt your own view. Moreover, you may be led astray by false appearances of regional darkness and local darkness. Regional Dakinis are Dakinis of areas who deceptively call themselves Dakinis of the absolute space of primordial consciousness, masquerading as such and making prophecies. By taking them to be true and practicing in accordance with what they say, you come under the domination of such Dakinis, resulting in endless delusion in the realms of samsara. Local Dakinis are mundane Dakinis who enter the hearts of women of an area and by various means deceive others. If you fall under their influence, you will be thrown back into endless samsara. At such times, by truly recognizing samsara and nirvana as being nothing other than your own appearances, unreal-like illusions and dreams, you come to rest in a state free of reification and clinging. As a result, the Dakinis come under your power, and you spontaneously achieve the secret supreme siddhi without seeking it. At such times, you may also be deceived by obstructing maras. Unstable meditative experiences and realizations may suddenly arise, you may think you know the minds of others, you may have the sense that you can emanate various bodies and colors, and you may cast two shadows and reflect two images in a mirror. These are sure signs that you are in danger of falling under the domination of maras. When this happens, offer the smoke of frankincense, bathe yourself with the water of large and small ambrosia pills, rub the clay of an old statue onto your limbs, and recite mantras for dispelling obstacles. In so doing, they will be dispelled. You may be deceived and led astray by beings appearing as gods, when obstructive beings deceptively take on the form of your personal deity, proudly showing the faces and granting prophecies. These are definitely the deceptions of maras. So if this happens, know that everything in samsara and nirvana is nothing but your own appearances, and all forms, gods, and Buddhas that are held to be substantially existent are simply delusive. In this way, without indulging in clinging or hope, recognize that all harms by demons, malevolent spirits, and obstructive beings, as well as ominous portents and bad omens and so on that seem to be harmful, are all utterly deceptive meditative appearances. In that way rest in the absolute space of equality of ultimate reality, free of fear and aversion. In so doing, adversities will arise as the path and misfortunes will arise as aids, so that they become meditative experiences and realizations that enhance your practice. Thus they transfer, or propel, you to the culmination of the path. 5. How people of middling and inferior faculties who do not reach the culmination of the path in this lifetime are liberated in the transitional phases of ultimate reality and of becoming. Individuals who do not reach the culmination of the path like that realize the vital points of the view and meditation, like a swallow entering its nest. Identify the transitional phase of dying, like a lovely young woman gazing at her reflection. Recognize the nature of existence, like meeting someone you have known before. Merge the clear light into absolute space, like a child crawling onto its mother's lap. Practice continuously, like repairing a broken irrigation canal. Block the entrance to the womb, like being released from a foul prison, and so on. Recognize the supreme importance of these 6 analogies and their vital points. By this it is possible that you will be liberated or find relief. The presentation of the ways in which individuals of middling and inferior faculties who do not reach the culmination of the path like that in this lifetime are liberated in the intermediate period has 3 parts, at the essential nature, b. divisions, and c. individual ways of transforming the transitional phases into the path. At the essential nature, everything that appears to be other than the originally pure ground constitutes processes of the transitional phases. The phenomena that arise as appearances to the ground primordial consciousness constitute the transitional phase of ultimate reality. All phenomena included among the delusive appearances of the 6 realms of existence constitute impure, delusive transitional phases. Volitions together with the seeds constitute the transitional phases from the time they arise from the space of awareness until they are extinguished in absolute space. B. Divisions. This section has 4 parts: the transitional phase of living, or of nature, the transitional phase of dying, the transitional phase of ultimate reality, and the transitional phase of becoming. The first occurs from the time you are conceived in your mother's womb until you are struck by a mortal disease. The second takes place from the time you approach death until your breath ceases. The third lasts from the moment your breath stops until the visions of the clear light arise and the spontaneously actualized visions dissolve. The fourth occurs from the moment the spontaneously actualized visions dissolve until your next birth takes place. C. Individual ways of transforming the transitional phases into the path. The 4 kinds of transitional phases are taught in 6 ways in terms of pairs of analogies and their reference. First, during the transitional phase of living you cut through misconceptions by hearing, thinking, and realizing the vital points of the view and meditation, like a swallow entering its nest. Second, in the transitional phase on the verge of death you identify the transitional phase of dying and vividly bring to mind the teachings on which you have meditated previously, like a lovely young woman gazing at her reflection in a mirror. Third, you gain conviction by recognizing the originally pure nature of existence in the transitional phase of ultimate reality, like meeting someone you have known before. Recognizing the spontaneously actualized visions of the clear light as your own appearances and then merging, or releasing, them into absolute space is like a child crawling onto its mother's lap. Fourth, in the transitional phase of becoming, recognizing the signs of taking birth in any of the 6 realms and maintaining the continuity of the practice you have learned previously gives rise again to the ground clear light, the originally pure Dharmakaya. Achieving liberation in this way is like repairing a broken irrigation canal. Alternatively, to block the dreadful entrance to birth from an impure womb, bring to mind any pristine Buddha field that provides great relief. By doing so, you will proceed there, which will be like being released from a foul prison. The other kinds of transitional phases taught in authoritative sources include the transitional phase of the cultivation of meditation and the delusive transitional phase of dreaming. It is crucial that you recognize the supreme importance of these vital points of practice, illustrated by the 6 analogies 154, and diligently apply yourself to them. By the power of practicing like this, it is possible that you will be liberated in the transitional phase of ultimate reality or else find relief in a pure Buddha field in the transitional phase of becoming. These points should be fathomed in greater detail on the basis of commentarial treatises. This concludes the 7th phase revealed in the sharp Vajra of Conscious Awareness Tantra.